Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils. This is the final full-time review of the season following the FA Cup defeat to Chelsea this weekend. But before we get stuck into it, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's joined us this season, been on a Fancam, been on a preview, come and spoke to us on camera or off camera at the match, and all those that have sent in a free word review as well. So thank you to you guys for joining us for the entire season. It really means a lot to us. Let's get stuck into what's happened then. So there's a couple of points that I want you guys to talk about, and the things that I want you guys to talk about is I want to talk about 2008 because it feels like such a lifetime ago that Manchester United won the Champions League. 10 years since we've last won it, and I want you guys to get your thoughts in, your memories in, where did you watch it, all that kind of stuff. I want you guys to talk about this weekend's FA Cup, what went wrong, where did it go wrong, and how do we fix that for next season. And finally, I want to talk about transfers. Now, I know that I've said to you guys, this is not the time or the place for transfers when we're talking about the football, but now it is. The transfer window is open. The final football game of the season is over, so it's time to open the floodgates. Let's talk about the transfers you want to see in, the transfers you want to see out, and I guess I'm going to now have to talk about this weekend's performance, aren't I? Right then, so from a performance point of view, it was disappointing because it's not the first time that we've seen Manchester United play like that. It's not the first time that we've seen Manchester United struggle to break down an opposition when they park the bus against us. But what's frustrating about it is that we didn't have an option. We didn't have any sort of idea how to break a team down. We didn't have any sort of clue apart from the main plan A, which is Lukaku. Lukaku wasn't fit, so we have to go with what we've got. And when a team, like Mourinho's about to tell you when I show you the press conference, when a team sits in a low compact block like they did, it's difficult for them to be broken down. And that's what's disappointing, is Manchester United, with some serious attacking talent on the pitch, with the likes of Sanchez, the likes of Lingard, the likes of Paul Pogba and the likes of Marcus Rashford, I expect Manchester United to be able to figure a way through those. And latterly we brought on Juan Mata, we brought on Anthony Martial, we did bring on Lukaku, and we still couldn't break them down. That's the disappointing thing. Since Lukaku got his knock, United have scored like essentially one goal or something, haven't we, in 4 games or something like that. It's been awful, man. It's been awful. I think it shows the reliance that we've had on Romelu Lukaku, and the system that we've got in play is clearly not good enough for Manchester United to be free scoring goals. Now, there are about to be some changes. Kieran McKenna will be becoming part of the Manchester United first team coaching staff with Michael Carrick. McKenna's had the under-18 scoring freely this season. It's been an absolute joy to watch them. They've kept about 3 clean sheets all season, but they've absolutely battered teams. There's 4 or 5 goals left, right and centre. So it'd be interesting to see if McKenna's allowed the opportunity to play the style of football he wants in the final third, or if he can bring something to the table with Jose Mourinho. I think it's a massive boost. I think it shows Mourinho, one, wants to be here long term. Because 17 years into your career, if you're thinking you're off after 12 months, I don't think you entirely change your whole backroom staff. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see. I think it's a long-term move from Jose, and I think it's a move that's been much needed, because one of the biggest criticisms I've ever had of him is that he never evolved his staff. And if you're not evolving your staff, where are the fresh ideas coming from? One of the big things Sir Alex did, because he had the confidence in his own standing within the club, is that he was able to constantly bring in other assistants and other coaches to get the best out of the team. He was secure in his position, so he didn't feel threatened by any of these guys coming in. So it'd be a good thing if Jose could do the same one. So right, you guys are getting into the comments. We've had, we need to sign Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey's an excellent player. Do I think Jose's losing the dressing room? Our players don't really seem happy, says Mindception. There's a lot of talk. There is a lot of talk that the players aren't happy. But we've just lost a cup final. We've just watched City absolutely trounce the league. And the Scousers are in a cup final in the Champions League this weekend. If the players are happy, I question their mentality. It's whether they're unhappy with their own performances or they're unhappy with the sort of things they're being asked to do. That's where the key lies, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if they're unhappy with their own performances or if they're unhappy with what they're being asked to do. Unfortunately, I can't say that's the one. ASB says, Mourinho plays the most boring football in the league. We are a rich Stoke City. Well, all I'm going to say to you guys is this. Where was these comments when we were smashing teams 4-0? And why was we smashing teams 4-0 earlier on in the season? And why did it fall to pieces towards the end of the season? And if we can get that 4-0 FC back, then which we've had this season, then what's the criticism? Because I was not bored during those 4-0 games. And I wasn't bored watching us beat Liverpool at home. And I wasn't bored watching us beat City at the Etihad. And I wasn't bored when we beat Chelsea at home. I don't understand why people are placing this much emphasis on the style of play. You have to have substance before you have style. People keep telling us that Liverpool are better than us, although they've not managed to beat us this season. That Tottenham are better than us, and we've beat them in the league, and we beat them in the FA Cup semi-final. So what is it that people want? Because I tell you this for free, if Manchester United have absolutely bored the piss out of the FA Cup final in the manner that Chelsea did this weekend, I'd have been pretty happy coming home. I'd have been a lot happier than I was coming all the way home from Wembley and getting in at 3 in the morning after watching that. Ultimately, it's about winning things. Once you're winning things, then you can start improving the style of play. But let's be honest, we are a very demanding fan base and we demand success. If we'd have got success this weekend, I think the mood would have been a hell of a lot different. But the top and bottom of it is United fan, is that some so-called United fans then decide that they have to just go and absolutely rain down hate on our players and our manager to the extent where the manager has to delete his social media accounts. That's not on at all. Support the club. That means supporting the club, not absolutely raining hate down on them. It's a disgrace. We scored last-minute goals, says Carmichael. They count, don't they? Do we have to go and give back the Champions League title that we won in 1999 because we scored in injury time? Don't think we do. Last-minute goals count, mate. I just checked. Abhishek says, our biggest worry is not the deadwood at the club, but the fact Mourinho doesn't seem to be getting the best out of the top players we already have. I think that's a good point, mate. We aren't getting the best out of the top players we already have. But when you look at the starting 11 that we had at weekend for the FA Cup final, only 3 of those was Jose Mourinho signings. And I think that's the issue. The signings that we've made have either been moved on, in the case of Zlatan and Mkhitaryan, in that those were players that, with Zlatan you probably could have expected it, and we've definitely replaced him with Romelu Lukaku. That's not an issue. But we brought Mkhitaryan in, and I actually think Mkhitaryan was, it's probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but Mkhitaryan was responsible for a lot of the stuff that we was doing when we was 4-0 FC at the start of the season. A lot of it came through him, but he was also extremely inconsistent, and his attitude didn't fit with that of the rest of the squad, and supposedly had a falling out with Jose Mourinho at some point as well. So that was never going to happen, and he's been replaced, albeit in a different position, with Alexis Sanchez. If we'd have brought him in and played him on the right-hand side, Alexis Sanchez, he's not going to be in Pogba's space, and he's not going to be in Pogba's area of the pitch, and I don't think it would have had the negative impact that it had on Martial and it would have had on Marcus Rashford. I think since Sanchez has come in, and I still believe it was the right decision to get Sanchez, but since Sanchez has come in, we've not been able to get the best out of Pogba, and it has definitely affected Rashford, and it's definitely affected Martial. So that to me is going to be one of the turning point decisions of the season. I also think it's going to be worth looking at when Zlatan came in. Did that knock the effect? Did that take a bit of confidence away from Romelu Lukaku? Because if you look at the timeline of when Zlatan came back into the club, that was when Lukaku's dip happened. So was there some sort of confidence shaker with him being in there as well? I don't know. Either way, the football on Saturday echoed the football on the season, that we are second best to what we should have been. We could have done better and we could have come away with a trophy, but we didn't. And it echoes the poor performances like West Brom. It echoes the poor performances like the Sevilla game. And that's what's going to be the enduring memories of this season. There has been tangible progress. We are a lot better, a lot harder to beat, and way more efficient against the top teams. When was the last time you saw a top 6 mini-table? They're all the rage when United are losing them, but not so much when United are doing well in them. We have made progress, but it doesn't feel like progress. Right, let's talk about some happier stuff then. Let's get in your transfers in. Give me 3 in and 3 out, and I'll read some of the best ones. Give me some reasoning behind them as well, and give me your memories. Let's go on to happier stuff, man. 10 years ago, Manchester United was the top of the world with one of the greatest football teams, if not the best Premier League team that has ever been assembled, with that team that went on and won the Champions League in Moscow when John Terry slipped. Matthias says, it looks like 3 Brazilians are heading to OT. My thoughts? Who's the 3? That'd be Sandro, Fred. You're not suggesting Neymar as well, are you? Will Willian improve our team? I think Willian will add a little bit of balance to that right-hand side if Willian's one of the signings that we bring in. Shutter Crazy says, Martial's body language is so negative when things aren't going well. I will agree on that, but I don't think you should look into the body language thing so much. We as fans have to point out our obvious problems or they won't be addressed, Barry. Barry, you're correct. But the abuse that I've seen on Phil Jones's wedding photos on Instagram and the abuse that Jose Mourinho was subjected to is not on. There's absolutely zero excuse for that sort of negativity and just pure nastiness. Yeah, I criticise, we all criticise, but there's a professional way to criticise, and I think people forget that these are human beings that are trying the best for the club at the end of the day, and some of it is just not on. Out Darmian, Fellaini and Mata, says Kurt. I'm assuming two of those you want out and one is the one that you think might go out. Talk about Talisca. Is he one that we think is going to sign? There's been a lot of names that have been linked. Yash has got a couple of them there. Savic, Sandro and Fred. I don't think you'll sign those three because I think Fred and Savic play in quite a similar position, so I'd be shocked at that one. Richard says Sandro because he's good going forward and defensively and has good pass accuracy, which we lack at fullback. I think Sandro or Sessegnon, if not both of them, could be options for United. Heard that Talisca has a pre-agreement to come to OT, says Kevin. 3 out, Fellaini, Shaw and Darmian. Sandro, Isco, Florenzi. Isco's a name that we haven't heard. I'd love Isco. Tony Cruz is a name that I would love as well. It's interesting to see how many of these comments are directed by what we're already seeing rumours for. Is there anyone that you're not seeing us linked with? Because I'm not seeing us linked with Tony Cruz at the moment, but he's a player that I really think needs to make us tick. If you look how slow he was against Chelsea, moving the ball from defence to midfield, I think that was one of the issues for us. Right then, you've heard from me. Now, this isn't the greatest press conference the world has ever seen, but we've seen it before. Let's see what the gaffer had to say after that on Saturday.
How do you assess that? Obviously, you had a chance in the second half, but it seemed a very, very slow start for your side.
Do you think?
I thought so, yeah.
I don't agree.
But you had a chance in the second half to get extra time, you must have felt.
Well, with your questions, I know already where I am, and I don't have a big desire to speak. So I think it's better to say congratulations to the winners, and that's it.
Joseph, did the best team win this afternoon?
I'm quite curious to, especially because now I'm on holidays and I have more time for that. I'm quite curious for today, tomorrow, next couple of days, to read, to watch, to listen your opinions.
What was your opinion, Jose, on your team's performance?
My opinion on my team performance is that every defeat hurts, but for me personally, the ones that hurt less is when you give everything and you go without any regrets. So I prefer to lose like today than to lose like we did, for example, at Newcastle, just to give an example of the season. I leave my players happy with them. I leave the players very happy with them. And for me, that's really important. It's not a difficult decision, it was his decision. It was his decision. I knew that the opponent I was going to play against, I knew that they have a compact low block with lots of physicality where they try to close everything. I knew that without a target man would be difficult for us. I knew that at least Fellaini coming from the second line but attacking their defensive line with his physicality, I knew that would be difficult, but I wouldn't expect that the game was exactly like it was.
Jose, did you try to convince Romelu to play?
No. No. When a player tells you he's not ready to play, when a player tells you that he's not ready to start the game, then the question is, how many minutes do you think you can? But how can I convince a player that tells me that he's not ready to play? Then that's nonsense.
Were you disappointed by the goal? Because you worked very hard to control Hazard, but in that moment you weren't able to do so.
I know. That's football. That's football. I think our team did a fantastic defensive job without defending. We control the positions very well. We control the transitions really well. They only play long balls to Giroud to flick, and then Hazard to get second balls in individual action. So when you play against a team so predictable, it's quite easy to adapt to it. So I thought we wouldn't concede any goal in this match. But of course, Hazard is a very good player, and he created a penalty.
So that was what the gaffer had to say in the press conference following the FA Cup final defeat. And there's a couple of things that I want to pick up on him. The last thing he was talking about there was that they only played long balls and we felt we wouldn't concede a goal in this match. He was kind of correct in that, yes, they was playing long balls, but I don't think the way he brought it up was quite a critical thing to say that they've only played long balls. We've gone direct ourselves when we needed to. And as I said earlier, if we'd have come out of there, parked the bus all over Wembley and come away with a trophy, not a bit bothered. So I don't think it would be fair or right for Jose to criticise somebody else for doing a tactic that he's pretty good at. The other thing he knew without a target man, we knew they'd be low block, we knew they'd be compact. Lukaku said he wasn't ready, and he seemed a bit pissed off with that, and it seemed to be having a little bit of go at Lukaku. Lukaku's someone that's been out for a few weeks. There was a lot of rumours swirling around on Friday night that the team was out. The team was the team that started minus Marcus Rashford and with Lukaku in it. So it was obvious Lukaku come to him on the morning and said, I'm not 100%. If he's not 100%, he's not 100%. That's a big dude to be running around on a busted up ankle for 90 minutes. And yes, United pay his wages. You'd hope that he'd bleed for us, but he does have a World Cup that he's probably got his eye on as well. And obviously the World Cup's like a month away. So if he wasn't ready, he wasn't ready. And obviously he played 20 minutes, didn't really get a chance to do a great deal with it, but such is life. If we knew he didn't have a target man, why not change the tactics? Why not change it to something a bit more fluid? Why not maybe go 3 at the back and push those fullbacks up a little bit more to give us that extra width to try and get some crosses in and try and just mix it up then? Because the tactics that we did have, if they was geared up to play with a target man and we didn't have the target man, it doesn't make a lot of sense to just continue playing that way because Marcus Rashford's not a target man. I think Marcus Rashford can be an excellent number 9 in his particular style of doing it, but you need to be putting crosses into the box, you need to be putting through balls into the box. You can't expect him to pick up where Lukaku would leave off. They are completely different physical frames. It's never going to work like that. That's about it, really, in terms of comments from the gaffer. Let's see what you guys are saying. Remember, we want to talk about your memories from 2008, and we want to talk about the transfers that you want to see United make. Someone's in the comments here saying, or play Lindelof, a ball player. We was very slow moving it up out of defence and through midfield. And even, I thought Matic was excellent, but he struggled getting the ball forward quickly. We just had nothing to pass it through. Chelsea blocked us out, and they did a great job of it. Oderic says, Fellaini out, Savic in, Shaw out, Tellers in, Smalling out, and Alderweireld in. That would be an upgrade, without a shadow of a doubt. Playing the same back four as 5 years ago results us in losing games. Adam, it was the same back four as 7 years ago, if you want to get technical. Goodbye Martial says, Kaz, what manager would you want if Jose left end of next season? Impossible to say, isn't it? You need to see who's available and who's not available. Jordan says, 08, I took for granted being only 12 years old. We all took it for granted. 2018 with leaders back then and something we are missing. Well, if you look at the back four now, look at the back four then, Obviously, it's incomparable. You've got two captains side by side in Vidic and Rio. You've got a captain behind them in Van der Sar, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. That's the only thing I think that's comparable with this current team, is that we've got one of the best goalkeepers in the world in between the sticks. And you've got Paddy Evra, who's an absolute leader and someone that you would want in every single dressing room, whether he was playing or not, at left back. And then Wes Brown, who's a player that gets a lot of stick from a lot, and maybe not enough respect in my opinion, because Wes Brown in 2008 was absolutely fantastic. He wasn't in that final team because somebody else was injured. He was in there on merit. He was fantastic against Barcelona. He had an excellent season and a left-footed cross for Cristiano Ronaldo to get the goal in the final as well. The midfield was an all-English midfield. Scholes, Hargreaves, Michael Carrick. No, the era is now over. And then that forward three that could win games on their own. Carlos Tevez, Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney. That is an 11 that I put up against any 11 that's ever played together. Don't talk about 2008, it hurts. Well, it's the 10th anniversary today. We're talking about it. Get used to it. Bonucci for centre-half. Is he on a free transfer? Or have I just heard wrong? Because, yeah, Bonucci would be phenomenal, I think, to have in our back line at the moment. We need someone with that experience. Jim says, thoughts, one of the biggest problems is not operating with director of football thoughts. I agree, mate. Yeah, we are run by accountants, and I think someone that's got a football mentality. We saw David Gill after the match on Saturday. Now, that was a football man. He was actually an actual accountant before he came to United, but he was still a football man, still involved in football. Now, I think he's at UEFA at the moment, but he's a guy that knows football, and I think we missed that. Losing him and Sir Alex at the same time was a big blow that the club's probably still not entirely recovered from. Fizzy says, I'm not even a United fan, but hands down the 07 to 09 team was the greatest English side in the Premier League era. I've got to agree with you on that one, mate. Ryan says, Saul from Atletico Madrid, talking about transfers. Saul would be a good one. In fact, there's a lot of players from Atletico Madrid I wouldn't mind United picking up, to be honest with you. Why can't we give Bailly and Lindelof a game together, says Mr. DNW. I'd love to know, mate. I would love to know. Right, should we have a look at what some of the lads had to say from the fan cams outside Wembley? Take it away.
Hi guys, welcome to Full Time Devils. I'm Adam McCullough, outside Wembley where Manchester United have lost 1-0 against Chelsea.
First half, no organisation. Second half, huffed and puffed. You look to your manager to give some inspiration. What does he do? Nothing.
It's not a day for knee-jerk reactions, but I don't think any of the reactions are knee-jerk, because one thing we can't say about that performance is that it was surprising in any way.
Chelsea was so bad and have just won the FA Cup, and they were so bad and somehow we were worse. Like Pogba, free header, Santos had a few half chances, Rashford had one that was well saved. We had better chances, we were more in the game, but we were still dreadful.
We've known for ages that Chris Smalling and Phil Jones, even though Chris Smalling did all right in that second half, we've known that they're not good enough to consistently perform for Man United for years.
Bridge last season. Make sure Marshall stays. Make sure Tony stays. I beg ya. We'll give him another 50 minutes. That's Mrs. Marshall, yeah.
People should be angry. They should be frustrated. They should be angry with Jose Mourinho.
I was worried that he'd set up the team so narrow. Pogba was our widest player.
We'll never die. We'll never die.
There's certain players that simply just don't have either the ability or the confidence to play for Man United. And sometimes it's as simple as that, Adam.
That was garbage.
It didn't feel like a cup final, that did it?
Never saw it. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel like it ever got going. And then it ended and you're like, right.
This is possibly the last time I'm going to see Marshall in a red shirt now. Marshall, I pray God punishes you for what you've done to these two boys. I swear down.
You mean Mourinho?
I swear down. What did I say?
You said Marshall.
No, Mourinho, God punish you for what you've done to my two favourites. I swear down.
Marshall, I see, is going to be in full force, absolutely rattling Jose Mourinho for not starting him. They're already disappointed he didn't get in the French squad, which is an utter joke, may I say. He should be in there instead of Lamar, I believe.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me Louis van Gaal was in the dugout today. Anyway, fan cams are coming. Make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing. Get your comments in below. We've got you covered for the whole summer. We got tomorrow's transfers today and all that stuff starting soon. But yeah, cheers guys, see you in a bit.
So there you go, that is the fan cams, the last lot of fan cams from this season. Fan cams obviously will be back as soon as we start playing football again. So the only one I really want to pick up on there is Keem mentioned one, talking about confidence, Cheeky Sport Keem, and also Paul, Rantcast Paul, talking about it wasn't a surprising performance from United, and that is ultimately the disappointing thing with it, isn't it? So we're talking about 2008 as well today. I watched it in the Palace Hotel in the centre of Manchester with about 3,000 other Reds, and it felt like being at a game. We watched it on loads of big screens in there, people was chanting on the booze, and the atmosphere was incredible. Something I'll never forget. I remember John Terry walking up for his penalty, looking down, adjusting his armband, getting himself ready for the photographs when John Terry, Mr. Chelsea, wins the Champions League for his club, which he never actually did. And I had the confidence he was going to miss. And I said to Ben, if you watch my podcast, you know the lad I do it with, Ben, he was on my shoulder looking the other way and he was like, I can't watch. And I said, he's English, mate, he's missed it all day long. And then he slips, it hits the post, and then you know what happened next. Edwin van der Sar, let us know in the comments where you watched it. What's your biggest memory of that final? Edwin van der Sar saving an Elkers and just screaming it like that. Never forget that scene. Incredible moments. It feels like a long time ago, and it feels like it's a long way off as well. But what I wouldn't give to go back 10 years and experience that all over again. Aaron in the comments says, I think Marshall's time is up. It's clear he has the talent, plenty of chances, but he's been poor. Got into a really good position to cross it on Saturday and fluffed it out for a goal kick. Timothy, good point. Holding midfielders are slow in moving things quick, hence Herrera, Fred and Pogba will make United function. There's no way he's going to drop Matic. I think he's in love with him. Has anyone ever thought these fan favourites just ain't good enough? Marshall isn't good enough. Tevez missed a sitter. I don't remember that. I remember it going off right at the end though. Van der Sar is my idol, says Mills. Van der Sar, awesome in the final, legend. I was praying like anything when JT was walking up to take the penalty kick. You know it was going through his head, don't you? This is my big moment. Imagine crying on the pitch. Atmosphere needs to change because listening or trying to listen, you can't hear anyone chanting or anything. The atmosphere is pretty good, to be honest with you, a lot of the time. Ryan Johnson, the 2007-8 team fought for their place because they were honoured to wear the shirts, whereas the lads at this moment feel too comfortable. I think that's a sweeping statement. I think that is a sweeping statement. I don't know about that, to be honest. I don't think that's the case with every single player in that team and this team. I remember just praying that he misses. Most definitely the best prayer ever, says Kess. John Terry's miss is the one I remember most. When Van der Sar went one way and the ball went the other way, says Doodles. Jose is closer to Van Gaal than Sir Alex. Judges players early and stays stubborn with them, not focused on quick playing it safe, not treating players as individuals. You may have a point on that one. John Terry holding his legs, crying on the turf is the best image. And remember, we are talking transfers as well. Hid behind a sofa for an Elka shot and then heard my dad shouting with joy. I think I knew once an Elka was warming up, I was like, he's missed this. You could see it in his face, couldn't you? There was no confidence there, there was nothing there. Siedi says, I was 12, watched it in our living room in Egypt. Pharaoh, Red Devil forever. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Remember, get your comments in. We're going to go to see the lads in United on YouTube. As we said, last one of the season. Let's see what the boys have got to say in this one.
Manchester United, or should I say, the group of individuals, 0. Chelsea 1, because that's what we are, right? Every attacking player in our squad played in that game. Sanchez, Pogba, Lukaku, you name it all. There's no cohesion. They're not gelling.
Disappointing game, really. Didn't get started in that first half. Mistake from Jones, obviously, for their goal. And second half, yeah, we attacked them. But again, apart from a couple of chances, Pogba, the obvious one, we couldn't do anything that was, or create anything that was clear cut.
Jones, I don't know what was going on with the penalty. It was a penalty. I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, this pisses me off, honestly. I'm pissed off at this season. Even though we got second, it's an improvement. You know what I mean? It's not good enough.
It's been a really flat ending, hasn't it? Our league form has been really inconsistent. Felt like we've kind of just been aiming towards this. We're going to have a pretty tumultuous summer. Lots of ins, lots of outs. We're going to lose Martial, which is absolute... I can't believe he's going. He may get his squad next season that he actually wants. Are we going to see a different brand of football, though? We just aren't utilising our attacking players to their potential. That's the big problem. But can we expect more progression? I don't know. Hopefully his backroom staff, the change, will have an improvement on that. That's what I am looking forward to. And hopefully we can get rid of some of the deadwood and really, improve on some of those positions. Looking forward to a new season either way. Always follow the boys, and a World Cup as well. Nice one.
That's it from all the lads in United on YouTube this season. Thank you to everybody who sent one in. And if you want to get involved, then keep an eye out for this video next season. And we'll be taking 30-second reviews off you guys. Just send them into our email address, which is in the description below. And I just want to say, Raf, you have been my favourite in United on YouTube this season. Your one-liners absolutely kill it. And I think the line that you opened this video with, right at the top, just sums up this season. We are a collection of individuals, not Manchester United, the team. And that from me is it. I want to say thank you to you guys that have joined me watching this video live here today and commenting with me live today. And if you're not watching it live, then any of you that have watched it, joined in and commented throughout the season is much appreciated. Now, if you're a bit of a glutton for punishment and you want to relive what happened for the FA Cup final on Saturday, then we did do a matchday vlog. It's definitely worth checking out. It was a good video despite the obvious not winning the FA Cup part of it. Go check that out. We have got tomorrow's transfers today, which is back with McCullough this evening, and that's going to be back every weekday night, so make sure you check that out at 11 o'clock. All that's left for me to say is thanks once again. We will still be here next season. This is what we do, and we'll be here hammering the transfers and ripping up journalists that talk utter bollocks all the way throughout the summer, and we'll be covering a little bit of the World Cup as well. So once again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon.